Welcome to the AJ Sports Show. As like usual, we'll talk about the previous weeks of college football in the NFL. But before I start that, let's do a little quick recap of what's been going on in the Division series. So today, or I guess yesterday, because when this video gets posted, it's these games that I'm talking today are going to be yesterday's news. All right. Cubs, they got absolutely trounced in their first two games. Both Matthew Boyd and Shota Monica got absolutely shelled. Today, they survived. They had a big first inning, and they were able to just coast on that. This was a classic case of you just survived to live for another game. Will the Cubs win Game 4? I don't have confidence. Let's see who they're going to chug out and start. If Matthew Boyd's starting Game 4, I have no confidence. Let's see if... I guess I'm not going to know, but if Matthew Boyd starts in Game 4, I got no confidence. He got shelled. I think we're seeing the last of what's good about Matthew Boyd as a pitcher. Phillies and Dodgers, it's at bottom of the ninth. I'm going to assume the Phillies win. Phillies desperately needed this win. They play like garbage in their first two games. They needed a dominant win. Can they win two more straight against the Dodgers? No. Just no. I think Dodgers they got Game 4 locked up. Unless the Phillies bats just go bang, 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 just home run all over the place, they're not going to win. They're just not. Detroit, so the Mariners and Tigers been back and forth. Detroit won Game 1. Seattle took the next two games. Game 4, the Tigers are facing elimination, and they dominated Game 4. So they're going to force a Game 5 in Seattle. I'm a guy who's going to root for the Mariners. All right? I like the Tigers too, but Seattle has not even made a World Series in their history. They're the only team in MLB history, like of all the 31 or the 29 other MLB teams that have not made it to World Series. Seattle's the only one. So it'd be nice to watch them win a World Series. Blue Jays, they finished the series against the Yankees. The first two games was domination. Then Blue Jays just crapped the bed in Game 3, but they got it done in Game 4. They're moving on to the ALCS. So the Blue Jays, as I'm recording this, is the only team that has clinched their ticket to the championship series. All the other teams, that's still up for debate. They all are forcing either Game 5s or Games 4s, respectively. So that's kind of your quick recap of the MLB postseason. We'll obviously talk about more of that as the games go on. All right, college football's week 6. My God. Let's get to the more tamed ones first. BYU beat West Virginia. Oklahoma dominates Kansas State with a backup quarterback. Purdue is not really good. They lost to Illinois. There's nothing to discuss. Ohio State dominates. Miami beats Florida State. It was domination at first. Florida State late in the fourth quarter tried to come back, but it was too late. Texas A&M blows out Mississippi State. Oh, let's get to these two embarrassments. Like Penn State. We need to talk. I think what Penn State has to do is kind of what Georgia had to do with Mark Richt, and basically go, you're a good coach, but we know we'll never win a national title with you at the helm. You got to go. I think that's what Penn State has to do. James Franklin's not a bad coach. He's a good head coach, a really good head one. But You're just not winning a national title with this guy. You're just not. And against UCLA, they embarrassed themselves. Remember, this UCLA team is atrocious. They just fired their head coach. They have a brand new head coach, a brand new offensive coordinator. They still have Nico Amaleave as quarterback. And they beat Penn State 42-37. Halftime was 27-7 UCLA. So Penn State absolutely embarrassed themselves against the Rose Bowl Stadium, which for UCLA home games, that stadium is as empty as it gets. And Penn State, y'all lost to them. So James Franklin, I think he needs to get fired. I think this is a Mark Richt or like a John Cooper situation where you've had some really good seasons, but at this point, you're not going to go the next level with this guy. I mean, you're good to very good, but you're not great. Penn State is never going to be a team that other good teams fear. That's just what's going to... That's James Franklin for you. Good to a very good head coach, but you can't get to great. In order to get to great, you have to beat great teams. And James Franklin just hasn't done that. So after a loss to Oregon in overtime, you had a chance to get yourself an easy win, get yourself ready for Ohio State's and Indiana's. Didn't do that. Y'all lost to UCLA. James Franklin, just go back to Vanderbilt. I'm not screwing with you no more. Get out. Another team that embarrassed themselves, Texas. It looks like we all got caught up with the Arch Manning hype train, and that hype train has absolutely crashed. Texas offense looked pedestrian. Texas defense decided to embarrass themselves. DJ Lagway hasn't been great all year, and he played the best game probably of his collegiate career. Florida is bad. And Texas just showed up flat. Florida showed that game with more fight than Texas. 29-21. And Florida was in control the entire game. This wasn't like a fluky upset where a bunch of fluky plays happened. That wasn't that. Florida just outplayed Texas on both sides of the field. Offense, defense, everything. So, Texas, you may not make the college football playoffs this year. You got Oklahoma this week. I know John Mateer is going to try to start. I think Oklahoma beats you with Michael Hawkins Jr. at quarterback. Texas is just not what they're supposed to be this year. And I guess that's what... I think that also says a lot about Steve Sarkisian. Good, but not a great head coach. Vanderbilt and Alabama, man. We all wanted Vanderbilt to win, but Alabama was just too strong. Bama was just too strong. Ty Simpson, after that Florida State game, Ty Simpson has lit it up. Ty Simpson might be, I think he's the Heisman frontrunner right now. There hasn't been too many players that's been that impressive or putting up the most eye-popping numbers. Ty Simpson might be the frontrunner of the Heisman Trophy. But Bama gets a huge win in Vanderbilt. They're still a good team, but this shows that they're not Bama strong. Even with a Nick Saban-less team, Alabama's just too strong for Vanderbilt to beat 2 straight times. Texas Tech and Houston, this got out of hand quickly. I thought this was going to be a close one. Nope, Texas Tech blows Houston out of the water. Georgia, you finally dominated for once. You haven't done this in years. Congratulations, you actually dominated a Power 4 team. Good job. I'm not going to respect Georgia until you beat Bama. That's where I'm at with Georgia. Beat Bama, you get my respect. That's that. Cincinnati and Iowa State. I didn't think this was going to be an easy win for Iowa State, but boy, they got beat down. I know the score's not going to indicate it all that much, but Iowa State at one point was down 31-17. Yes, they clawed their way back into the game, but it was too little, too late. And Cincinnati improves to 4-1, and Iowa State still in contention with the Big 12, but their road to the Big 12 title game took a little bit slip after a loss in Cincinnati. Michigan beats Wisconsin 24-10. Wisconsin, you might have to fire Luke Fickell. I liked the hire at the time. When Wisconsin hired him, I thought, okay, this is a very good hire. That doesn't look like to be the case. Notre Dame beats Boise State. Yay. I don't care. I don't like Notre Dame. I think I said this numerous times. Virginia beat Louisville. That was a pretty good game. Went to overtime. Virginia won 30-27. Pitt dominated. Yay. Good job. It's Pitt. All right. Clemson, North Carolina. Wow. I didn't think the Bill Belichick hire was anything impressive, but my gosh. 38-10. Clemson barely even have to try. And they just ran North Carolina off the building. North Carolina, you might have to fire Bill Belichick in year one. Just eat up your... You're just going to have to eat up that... Well, what do we call it? Buyout. I don't know why it took me forever to figure out the word buyout. But North Carolina, got to eat that buyout because this is not good. And it ain't going to get better. Bill Belichick at this point is a fossil. And I'm not talking about Bill Belichick anymore. Like, that whole thing and this girlfriend thing pisses me off. Just, no. Kansas State, you're officially dead from the Big 12. You're not going to make the Big 12 championship game. You lost to Baylor 35-34. Your offense played the best game of the season. Don't matter. Wake Forest beats West Virginia 30-23. Washington, they had a big fourth quarter to come back against Maryland 24-20. Arizona crushes Oklahoma State 41-13. SMU beats Syracuse 31-18. Nebraska beats Michigan State 38-27. Nebraska might be solid this year. Kansas beats UCF. Duke destroys Cal 45-21. And that is it for your college football's Week 7. Here's some matchups I'll say that's it for Week 6. I don't write scripts. I might need to. All right, Week 7 matchups. Your Friday game, South Florida, North Texas. This is actually going to be an interesting game because the American Conference has some very good teams this year. South Florida is obviously ranked. North Texas, they're actually 5-0. Who wins? I don't know. I'm totally torn on this one. North Texas is a good team, but South Florida's a good team. I'm going to say South Florida. I want North Texas to win because it'll be nice to see if North Texas wins that conference. But I think South Florida's a good team. Red River rivalry, Oklahoma and Texas. Who would have thought? I think most people before the season started thought how these two records are. Oklahoma's 5-0, Texas is 3-2. I think a lot of fans before the season even started thought it was going to be flip-flopped. I think I'm a little bit stunned of how good Oklahoma has played. Their defense has been lights out. They have one of the best pass rushers in the country. Passing game's decent. The running game, not so much. It's okay. Not dependable enough. Texas has been a bunch of disappointments. I know I'm an Oklahoma fan, so it's hard to think this very objectively. I think Sooners win. I think the defense shuts down Arch Manning, and the offense, with or without John Mateer, I don't think he should start for this game because if he starts, he's not going to run much because you want to protect that hand. I think you play Hawkins Jr. in this game. I think you should be able to win regardless of who's starting. Ohio State and Illinois. This is actually, on paper, this is an interesting game. In reality, Ohio State wins. It's that simple. Alabama, Missouri. Missouri, I want you to beat Alabama. My gut's saying Bama wins. Sorry. Pitt and Florida State. I want this game to be a clown show just for the laughs. I think Pitt's going to somehow blow a lead against Florida State. I have a feeling. Indiana, Oregon. This game, wow. This is a big game for both teams. I think Oregon wins. Indiana's been a really good team. They might be better than what they were last year. But I think just because it's at Eugene, I think Oregon wins. Virginia Tech and Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech should win. Although, don't look past Virginia Tech, Georgia Tech. Don't do it. NC State did the same thing. Cost them. Don't do it. NC State, Notre Dame. Notre Dame's going to win, and I'm going to die watching it. Iowa State and Colorado. Iowa State wins. Tennessee's going to beat Arkansas. There's nothing to discuss. A&M's going to beat Florida. Nothing to discuss. Kansas and Texas Tech. This is actually going to be a good game. I might watch this over the Georgia-Auburn game. I think Texas Tech should win this game, but don't look past Kansas. Kansas is good enough to beat Texas Tech if Texas Tech is caught sleeping. Don't look past Kansas, Texas Tech. I'm warning you. Michigan and USC, wow. Last year, the game was really close. Michigan won on a nail biter. I think USC wins. South Carolina and LSU. I want to go with South Carolina, but night games in Baton Rouge, it's almost impossible to win. Do I go with the norm and pick LSU, or do I take a swing at South Carolina? No, I'm not gutsy enough to take a swing at South Carolina. I think LSU wins. BYU and Arizona. I think Arizona wins. In Arizona and Utah. I think Utah wins. It's at Utah. They should be able to win. All right. Let's get to NFL's Week 5. Their first day nighter was 49ers and Rams. This game was a weird one. A game where both defenses couldn't stop each other. The Niners would win on overtime after stuffing the Rams on fourth down. The Rams were going for it on fourth down, which I thought was the right decision. If you're kicking the field goal, you're pretty much you're conceding for a tie. And they try to power run it with Kyron Williams, just didn't work. And the Niners, even with all the injuries, are somehow 4-1. Raiders and Colts, this game was not even a contest. The Colts just ran the Raiders out of the building. Daniel Jones played pretty well. Jonathan Taylor had a hat trick, 3 rushing touchdowns. Defense was all over the Raiders. Geno Smith threw 2 picks, which that has become a problem for Geno Smith. He has not been good this season. 6 touchdowns to 9 interceptions. His completion percentage is good. His yardages are alright, but those interceptions, those are killers. And that has been killing the Raiders. Vikings beat the Browns 21-17. Giants just suck. They lost to the Saints 26-14. And the Saints look like the better team the entire time. Everybody's going to say, oh my gosh, Dak Prescott's MVP. No. Congratulations, you beat the Jets. The Jets are horrible. It's the Jets. The Jets haven't been respectable in 15 years. Yeah, it's been that long. It's been that long of a time since the Jets were a respectable team. God, everybody likes overrating the Cowboys. Eagles. You and this other team I'll discuss. You learned a very painful lesson. When you play down the competition so many times, it'll come back to bite you. The Broncos. They came back 14 points down in the fourth quarter and beat y'all 21-17. Eagles. Learn to dominate inferior teams, guys. Learn that lesson. The Dolphins. Even when you think the Dolphins should get a good win, no. The Panthers, they rallied. They're down 17 points. They came back and win. 27-24 Dolphins. Y'all don't have a defense. Your defense is hot garbage. And you want a team that we thought was going to be really good, but has been bad this year, the Ravens. 44-10. Ravens. That your defense is garbage. It's just as resistant as a cone against a moving car. The Texans' their offense was stuck in neutral all year, and they scored 44 points. Ravens, y'all bad this year. You need to take a long look in your franchise. Oh, the Cardinals and Titans. Wow. You thought everybody would learn their lesson after A.D. Mitchell drops the ball before he crossed the goal line. Nope. Just a big, fat nope. How about the Mercado? He was on for a 71-yard rushing touchdown, and he decides to pull a A.D. Mitchell, Deshaun Jackson, or even a Leon Lett to an extent. Don't drop the ball before you cross the goal line. Learn! And that would spearhead a comeback. The Titans, who are garbage. They're terrible. They're nothing. They came back. 3 straight scoring drives. Eventually won on a game-winning field goal. 22-21. Cardinals, y'all were a cock tease to begin with. Y'all are frauds. Get out. Just get out. You're going to drop the ball before you cross the goal line. After you saw what A.D. Mitchell did last week, get out. You're done. Buccaneers. Man, every single Buccaneers game this year has been a heart attack to Buccaneers fans. This game was no exception. This game was a shootout. And they eventually won on a last-second field goal from Chase McLaughlin. 38-35. Lions destroyed the Bengals 37-24. Bengals are just completely dead. Commanders blow out the Chargers 27-10. Man, it was the worst time to have your 2 starting tackles missing significant time. One is gone for the year. One's gone for a little bit. Not looking good for the Chargers, which they had the best 3 games to start of any other team. Boy, that reality's crashing down on them quickly, though. I say the other team that needs to learn their lessons from playing out the competition. That is the Buffalo Bills. Bills, y'all should have creamed the Patriots. Patriots are not good. They're still rebuilding. And y'all lost to them. How do you let Drake May slice your entire defense? Shit. Y'all were lucky that I was watching the Cubs embarrass themselves, or I would be dunk on you harder. Bills, don't do that again. Want to win a Super Bowl? Don't play down the teams that you should dominate. Monday Nighter. Oh my goodness, this game was on drugs. The Chiefs and the Jags. The Chiefs for a while looked to be in control, but in the second half, the Jags got themselves back into this game. A pick 6 really kind of got the Jags momentum, but KC would answer, and then Jags answered with a field goal. The Chiefs answered with a touchdown, and then the Jags would answer again, this time on a weird, goofy run where Trevor Lawrence stumbles, gets back up, and was able to reach to the end zone within seconds in the fourth quarter. And the Jags, somehow 4-1. I think all 4... The Jags have won 3 straight. They're all ugly. Like the ugliest 3 straight wins you'll see in a while. And they face the Seahawks next, which that has the potential for another ugly win. Speaking of week 6, let's do this. All right. Thursday nighter. Your tonight's matchup, Eagles and Giants. Eagles should win if they don't play down the competition. If they play down the competition, things could get interesting. So Eagles, I'm watching you. Don't play down the competition. Cardinals and Colts. Colts should win this game. Cardinals are a bunch of cock teases. They're frauds. They're just... You think the Cardinals could be good, but no. They're not a very good team. I think the Colts should win. It'll be a competitive win, but it should be a win. Broncos and Jets. I'm going to pick an upset here. I'm going to take a swing. These London games can get weird. I think this game gets weird, and I think the Jets win. Chargers and Dolphins, even with the Chargers' offensive line being better, they should still win. The Dolphins don't have a defense. Patriots and Saints. Are we at a world that we're going to see the Patriots of all teams go 4-2? I think it happens. I think the Patriots win. They go to 4-2. What a weird world we live in. Browns and Steelers. Steelers should be able to win this. It'll be a drunken Steelers win because that's been the Steelers for the last 5 years. Every single win, they just found ways to accidentally win. But I think the Steelers will win ugly. Cowboys and Panthers. I really want to say the Panthers, but the Cowboys will dominate and everybody's going to overrate the Cowboys again. Seahawks and Jags. This is going to be an ugly game because both of these teams win ugly. I'm going to say the Jags win ugly again. I think the Jags have enough momentum where I think they can keep racking up ugly wins, and I think momentum's on their side, and it's at Duval. So, I think the Jags win and improve to 5-1. Rams and Ravens. Rams are going to win this. The Ravens' defense is getting picked apart all year long. It won't be good. Titans and Raiders. I think the Raiders win. Geno Smith hasn't played good, but the Titans are a weak opponent to feast on. And I think for the Raiders, that should be enough. Bengals and Packers. Packers are going to win this. Bengals, like I said, are dead. 49ers and Buccaneers. This game, I think, is going to be a good one. Both teams are battered, but they're going to stay competitive. I think the Bucs win. I think the Bucs win late in the fourth quarter. Baker Mayfield does his Baker Mayfield magic late in games. So I think Tampa Bay wins. Your Sunday nighter, Lions travel to Arrowhead to face the Chiefs. The Chiefs' offense has been better, but it's hard for me to think they can beat the Lions. I think the Lions win this game. The Lions they've shown themselves that they haven't regressed that much. They're still very good. And that offense can still score in bunches even without Ben Johnson calling plays. I think the Lions win this one. And for Monday night, you get a doubleheader. You have the Bills and Falcons, Bears and Commanders. I think the Bills come back. I think they bounce back from that loss. I think they should beat the Falcons without too much of an issue. And Bears and Commanders. I think this game is going to be competitive. I think it's going to be a 20-17, those kind of games. I think the Commanders win just because they're going to prove that they're the better team. So there you have it. This episode of college football's games and NFL games, and obviously I gave you the MLB's Division series. So I'll see you next week when the football games are over and we'll eventually get to the league championship series. So the video ends here, and thanks for watching.